Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and this is Replay, Relive, and Reexperience. Or as we like to call it, Re3s, where you guess it, we do all three of those things to our favorite video game series. Yes. In this edition of Re3, we'll be replaying, reliving, and re-experiencing Telltale's The Wolf Among Us, based on the comic book series Fables, created and written by Bill Willingham, in anticipation for The Wolf Among Us 2.
Yes.
We'll talk about it.
I'm highly anticipating it.
The anticipation's through the roof.
Here to uncover Fabletown's mysteries, as always, the gumshoe himself, Chris Trio.
I don't know what a gumshoe is. And
It's another name for a detective.
I was about to be offended, but no, I've never heard that.
You've
term before.
never heard that term?
No, it's. I mean, I wish I had a
gumshoe?
little fedora and I wish I had a little cigarette to kind of smoke and then put out with my feet, with my foot. But Gooch, I'm happy to be here.
And in the middle, one of the original Delco nerds, Joey Farrell.
Malcolm in the middle.
Welcome back.
That's my opening joke for this episode. Malcolm in the middle.
And I just said welcome back again. Of course, you've already been welcome back on the last episode.
it's
I will welcome you back
For anyone who
episode.
skipped the first episode.
Yeah, you psychopaths.
Yeah, I don't know why you fucking do that.
But I mean, who knows? There are weird people out there.
So here we are, episode 2, Smoke and Mirrors.
Telltale kind of pulling smoke and mirrors on us.
Great segue, because in between our recording, in between our recording of episode 1 and 2, unfortunately, Telltale officially delayed The Wolf Among Us 2 to 2024.
Yes.
It is officially
2024.
Yeah,
Which is next
it's out
year.
of this year.
No, 2023.
No, this is 2023.
Oh wait, yeah, we are. I am. Oh, dude, I am so. That's why. Okay,
yeah.
it's so funny. I'm living in
we
2022
thought it was
right now.
2022.
The Delco nerds have no idea what
Where am I?
What year is it?
Who are you, by the way?
But when I saw it, and like given like what I knew about how Telltale went down,
Yes.
it makes sense. Like really, and they went to IGN with a feature for it, which was interesting. They didn't just announce it, and they were like, "We don't want to crunch."
Yeah. I thought I saw something that they like had secured funding like a week or two ago.
Really?
How long has this been in development for? When did they announce it?
Actively is like
A while.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I guess like when did they do the last announcement?
Maybe I should look that up. No, it was the first project the new Telltale games announced.
Yes.
Because I want to say
So whenever that was, that Telltale revival.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that at the end of this whole shindig in episode 5. Because I'm pretty confident they never, like, it was something that everyone wanted. I think everyone wanted a Wolf Among Us season 2.
I mean, like Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us are like the two flagship like modern Telltale games, and Walking Dead has a definitive end.
Right.
You know, I don't know if people liked it or not. I never got there, but Wolf Among Us is just it never got any resolution past.
Right,
the
and it was like,
so.
this was awesome.
So yeah, everything kind of fell on that of like, well, can we at least?
Yeah, and I was while we were talking about it, I was thinking, I was like, was it announced like right at the tail end? Like, did they announce it while they were still the old Telltale? But so it's that in the Expanse game that they are making right now.
Okay, I don't know about that.
That's what they're doing.
Okay,
So,
But yeah, I can't really. True.
it was announced at the Game Awards 2019.
that checks out.
under
That's
new
when-
Telltale. Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming back to me now. I was in my old place.
Because Jeff Keighley also, when they talked about it, like, I think Jeff Keighley had like a sit down where they revealed like the first trailer and they were talking about details, and that was like shortly after the Game Awards. No, not shortly after the Game Awards. I think it was like that was last year in 2021, because I rewatched the trailer and that was what it was from. It was like this time in 2021.
Did you mention when they announced that it was getting delayed, or did I miss that? Because
The exact day.
they announced it the day after we recorded episode 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was
just the
February 22nd, I think, is what it's. That's when. That's the IGN article.
couldn't
date
be
that just
funnier
came up
timing
today.
for us.
Yeah,
That really was.
Because
It
I
was
think,
like-
that
that episode went good, and then it was like
even in the first episode, I was like, we don't know.
We really don't know.
and
what's
like
happening.
out like 12 hours later, it was like it's not coming out.
Which
this
is
year.
fine. It doesn't really. I mean, these will come out. It doesn't really affect what we're doing per se. But yeah, what's up?
Is this a game that takes 4 years to develop? Like, is a Telltale style game
Well-
a game that takes 4 years to develop?
It's just all like dev stuff. Because
That's what
like,
it seems
when
to
they
me.
were
Like,
there,
it really does. Like, I'm curious if, like, how, when they announced it in 2019, how deep into development they really,
I mean, like
were.
Telltale in like 2012, 2013, it took like 4 months to make like a game.
That's
like,
what I thought.
Like,
Yeah, so, like, I guess
it's
that's
all
why-
them just trying to figure out funding.
Right,
I
they
do
were
think that
pumping these
structure.
fucking things out.
And I do think that kind of excuse, which is a laudable excuse, and I will give them a lot of credit for wanting to avoid crunch, but
Yeah.
it's a bit of an easy one to be able to kind of be like, oh, we're trying to avoid crunch.
Yeah, it's
and that makes them look good, and they
Yeah.
should. And optically, I think that's the right thing to do.
But I guess as a studio that literally fell to
But that's
crunch,
what I'm saying. Yeah,
I
optically, I do get that. Absolutely.
Like when Rockstar talks about crunch, it's like a little different, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Because it's Rockstar.
Yeah.
Even though they're like notorious for crunching.
Yeah.
It's you kind of look at it differently.
I think it's what you said. It's an optics thing because really, it's probably just like. Yeah, restructuring this company has been
been a bit of a shit show.
We have no idea what's going on for the time being. So
we
it's
don't
like,
want to push this
we're
through.
taking it easy on our employees.
So
That's
I
why.
didn't realize they were self-publishing, not only developing but publishing, and I don't think they're doing that
So
anymore.
are there any like Telltale devs left there from like the old guard
I would
and stuff? I
imagine so.
assume so. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I would definitely imagine.
Yeah.
So
I feel like The Walking Dead season 1 is kind of up there with like BioShock, where I always see like announcements for games and it's like from writers of Walking Dead.
No, it's
season
so
1.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not BioShock. I mean, BioShock's another level. Like any
No, it's
game
true.
is like BioShock.
But
writer.
I do
It's
think
like,
you're right with Telltale. Sometimes I feel like it would kind of waver depending on like what came out recently. Like I feel like sometimes they'd put from the writers of the season 1 of Batman. But I do think you're right where like Wolf Among Us and especially The Walking Dead is usually there from the creators of da da da.
Yeah. So
You know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
thinking that like with so many like this new game is from the writers of this, it's like well then the writers probably aren't still at Telltale. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like all new.
I wouldn't be. Like,
I wouldn't
the way
surprise
it's
the
all-
majority is all fresh blood.
Yeah.
Which hey, we'll see what they can do. I would love to see an updated version of what this engine tries to do.
Yeah.
And like
It's
an
not the
actual-
same engine,
Or I'm sorry, of what the I guess you're right. From
but what they're
from
doing, I
in
think
this-
it's an Unreal.
Is this one on
Okay.
an Unreal? And then they
I'm
use
pretty
their own
positive.
Telltale engine.
The
after
Telltale
this?
tool.
Was made after this. I thought that was made to create this
That's what they were using.
within Unreal.
No.
I'm so confused. I'm sorry.
Old Telltale was
understand any
using
of
the
this
was using the Telltale tool as their
now I see.
now as new Telltale they are using Unreal.
So they're
I'm almost
probably
positive.
going to recreate that style. I would assume that style of how of like what
Shouldn't
that
be
is just
too
with
hard.
Unreal. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, which
interesting.
Which should be easy
It's
enough.
gonna
Oh,
be cool.
dude.
The new game will like run good.
I
Right.
can't wait.
They're using Unreal. Yeah.
I can't wait to see how good like this game itself, Wolf Among Us, this first season still looks awesome. I do think it has those technical issues where it chugs and it
Yeah.
has weird frame dips. But like
Stylistically,
that, the opening shots of like the neon drenched city and even the opening credits of like the doom, like the
Yeah.
it's so good. It's such a look, and
The menu
I really
music
do
is
love
such a vibe.
It is. It really is.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, I don't even know how to
I
do
can just leave it up. I'll
Yeah.
just pause and just. Leave
It's just
the
it's all
ambient.
bass. I love
Yeah.
it. It's so good.
Bung, bung.
But yeah.
Before we get into it, shout out to Fingers who did our intro and outro.
Absolutely, yeah.
Our little
I still
special.
haven't.
Wolf
I need
Among
to
Us.
listen to it. I mean, we record. I think you actually sent it to the
Like
group
the
chat.
whole
I did
thing.
snip-
Yeah, I would like to
listened
hear
a
it.
bit of it.
Like
It
I
was
need
good.
because it's probably amazing. I loved his. He did our Halo one too, and it was fantastic. So love it.
Episode 2, boys. Smoke and Mirrors. So, this released on February 4th, 2014. So, the first episode was released October 11th, 2013. So, we're November, December, January, almost 4 months in between episode 1 and 2. So, I'm interested to see if that changes at all as we go.
Sure.
But I played these as they released, and I don't even really think I cared that it was a 4 months apart. Like, it didn't bug me. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember
We
really
were in high
be-
school. We had other stuff to do. It was
No,
like,
we were in
just-
college. Oh, fuck. We were in college.
Well, yeah, then I definitely had other stuff to do.
Yeah,
but-
we were sophomores in college.
Yeah.
Wait, no, sorry, freshmen. Because this
I was a senior in high school still.
yeah, you're a senior.
I'm a
in high
young
school.
and young blood. No big deal.
So we start off this episode. We're in a actual police. What's that room called? Interrogation
room,
room. And Bigby Wolf, a fable, a cop, is being interrogated by
a Monday.
A Monday.
filthy
A fucking
Monday,
Monday.
cop.
yeah, fucking Popo Piggy.
Fucking idiots. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting start. I think to just roll you right
And
into being.
I
in a
didn't
police
remember
force.
this at all. I'm like,
I didn't really either.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
and knowing how it ends, and when the cop like starts bleeding and like having a headache, I'm like,
Yeah.
is this who I think it is? And
I
it-
thought so too. I
right,
did too.
right.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Is it?
Is it who?
Spoilers. The
the
villain.
villain, yeah.
The villain of this, and I'm like, oh no, it's Crane.
I'm hyped because I don't even remember the villain.
I think
Yeah.
I remember. That's the thing. I do. I was
remember-
thinking the same thing, dude.
Yeah,
For
because I was
certain.
like,
yeah.
and he was like, and I like how he comes in. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, come on.
He's like,
And then you just see everyone in the station, just
Yeah.
like I'm sure that's fine for them. But
it was a little too like
easy to clean
convenient.
up.
Yeah.
I agree. I would agree.
I just love I got to spell it, makes everyone forget everything. Also,
In the
and
last
then,
24 hours.
And then Crane has the box of evidence, and it's like, all right, cool, he collected everything, and he's like, come on, Big B, we have
He's
to
about
go.
to leave the picture.
And then he just the picture's sitting right there. I was like,
I do
gotta
love
go
thinking of the logistical problems that caused for that police station for the next day because they weren't answering the phones.
Yeah,
No one
like,
emergencies were going unanswered
Yeah,
for
the
at
Mondays
least
had
an
a
hour.
rough day.
You're asking
Whatever, how
questions
long-
we don't have the answers.
I know. But just imagine that.
It's fucking New York.
hell that
There's
cost
a few
for an
cats
hour.
that are probably still stuck up in trees. I'm
Absolutely.
sure.
But yeah, no, I thought that was a very cool way to just intro you into the episode. And
Yeah,
it was nice to have to see Big B interact with Mundi
I
a
mean,
little bit heavily.
Yeah, which doesn't really happen at all.
At least, this is a very
Which-
fable oriented. They just want to keep everything
Which
from them.
kind of makes my mind race a little bit because I'm like, how are fables interacting with the real world? Like, and it almost seems like in this game, almost not at all. Like,
So, it seems like some are obviously some
Like,
are working like
that's another question I
So,
have. And it's just like, it's just like, okay, are we just interacting with fables and you blend in, but like you don't interact with any sort
They
of
have to
Mundi
know to
shit.
some degree because, Toad gets he gets yelled at for not using glamour. There's definitely fables not using their
going
glamour.
to the grocery store.
Yeah, and
Well,
so
and some of them
someone's
don't.
gonna spot
and
somebody.
also, and I think some of them obviously don't need it too, like your
Yeah.
Snow
Like
Whites
Big
and
B
things
and
like that.
Beast
They're
and
just
Beauty,
So
They
I
don't
think
need
that's
it.
also an interesting point. But yeah, no, they seem to very much. I think they seem to imply that some fables have kind of gone off on their own and just kind of dealt with Mundi drugs. I do love the Mundi terminology is it
Right.
fits in
Oh,
so
they're
well.
using
It's
Mundi
like
drugs.
what's
Yeah.
the thing from Harry Potter? Muggles.
Muggles.
Muggles,
Yeah.
Muggles, pure blood.
You know what that was originally used for?
Blood?
Potheads.
Oh,
Back in
okay.
England. Those
What,
fucking
Muggles?
Muggles. Yeah. They love that.
I actually have an English.
They love those drugs.
fun
Maybe it was a
fact,
drug.
but we'll save that for later.
But I thought it was a very interesting kind of setup, and as Joey alluded to earlier, there is a lot of smoke and mirrors going on in this entire episode.
yeah, I missed a good opportunity for a screenshot, like right at the end of the episode. I'm like, fuck me. But
I know you're sitting there
something
beating
else.
yourself up for that too. You're like, God damn it.
I'm capturing these screenshots myself for this. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
I was when I was doing some research and I was like, there's really not good screenshots, and I'm like, I can do better. So we leave the police HQ. We're driving. It's really funny. We see this like Ichabod Crane driving like the big bad wolf in a car. It's kind of funny. And they're kind of like, it's like someone just died. They don't know what to say.
More like Dickabod lame.
Am I right? Oh, that was a
I
good
hate
one.
that
Burn,
guy.
burn.
I hate
So
that
did
guy.
you tell him to fuck off, I assume, in the car?
Well, actually, I don't. I think
No,
I did.
I kind of kept quiet a little bit because.
No, you know what? I did keep quiet.
Yeah, there was this one point where I just let him talk because honestly, he works with her. He does know her.
Yeah.
Despite where this episode ends, it kind of makes sense that he would be like actually upset.
Yeah.
He definitely
funny,
knows
though.
her.
It's so funny how all playing this episode, I feel like really unlocked a lot of my memories of this game,
Right.
and like a lot of story beats where I'm like, oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
And it's been really interesting to see them kind of lay
I
some of these,
haven't had too
especially in
many. The
general.
only one I really had was like when they start talking about the 13th floor and where glamour comes from. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I
I'm like,
remember being up
the
there.
witching well. Fuck yeah.
But then it's funny when they show the previews for like coming up next on Wolf Among Us. I'm like, oh, I remember all this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's funny. I'm surprised they keep showing him as a wolf.
Yeah, well, that would have been better.
It seems
saved.
like a thing you'd save, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
why
I mean,
put it in the,
they showed it in the first one, and it's
no,
not in
that's
the
what I
second
meant.
one.
I meant to even bring it up then. I feel like it's like
the
this
way
thing
they
really
showed it in the first one was like very partial and, then
And
it
a bit
cuts
more
quick.
mysterious.
This one, it was like they do it
him
again.
fully just
Yeah, and then he turns and he's like, "Rawr," and I was like, "Ah, shit."
rawr.
That
But
probably
yeah,
would have been
you-
sicker.
Yeah, that would have been cooler if I saved that.
agree.
But yeah, the investigation continues on.
Yes.
We obviously then move on to. So yeah, I did comfort Craig. I said like the nicer thing. I didn't really like comfort
Yeah.
him, but it says that I did.
Yeah, I didn't comfort. Yeah, I actually when it said that, I chose to stay quiet.
Yeah. I actually used silence a lot in this episode.
I did too.
And it
I
helped-
did in
It helped a
both.
lot
Yeah.
for sure.
My choices have become a lot more empathetic and nice.
You're not punching what's his name anymore, saying fuck off to the green guy. Yeah.
So early on in this episode, you go back to the bar and you see Gren without his arm.
Oh, okay. He has his
Bro,
arm.
I feel so bad about that. I saw him and he's being so cool
Is
in
it
this
like
episode too.
bandaged up?
Yeah, well, no. So he's got
Do
a
they
long
grow
sleeve
back?
shirt and he does like the old like vet
Pinned up.
sleeve pinned up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they
I
grow
feel
back
bad.
in this?
No, I don't think so. I think
Because there's another thing I have a question
know.
about
Yeah.
injury wise near the end of the episode, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So
yeah, I feel bad about that. So I played this episode a lot nicer.
that was really like
glad-
your kick in the
yeah,
ass
there's-
of like,
there's a certain-
I
Glad
realized
you
my
see
actions
you
are
had this
not
moral
good.
dilemma.
There's a certain strip club that I smashed the crap out of when I was in
We'll
college.
talk about it. You know
Did
what I
not do
mean?
that this time.
Yeah, you were saying, Drew.
But
You were leading us in.
yeah, no. So we're getting back after that. After we have that kind of interaction with Crane, we get back to the what is that
Woodlands.
called? The woodlands, where we find the woodsman. Getting that's a fucking thing. The woodman at the woodlands is being interrogated by Bluebeard. So it's the first time we see.
For us too,
Yeah,
it's
Tweedle.
it's the Tweedledee.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even
So
realize
that's
Totally didn't think
where
about
that's
that.
where it
Never crossed
changes.
my
But
mind until then.
I'm not sure it actually makes a difference who's in the chair.
Probably not. I mean, with a lot of the Telltale games, ultimately you end up at the same.
Kind of in the same spot. For the most
So
part,
we
yeah.
do finally.
Oh, I did get a game over by the time. By the
Oh,
way, this
yeah?
time I meant to mention. Sorry to cut you off, Gooch.
Let's get a game over.
It's when you're fighting Beast at the end. You can just get
So,
it says game over if you
There
don't
was
do
a
a certain
couple
thing.
parts. I mean, that's getting ahead, but there's a
Yeah,
couple
I know,
parts
I-
where I did not do fight.
Yeah,
options,
there are certain parts where you can, but there's one where
you just have
he has like you against the wall with a pipe.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
did, if you
I know
don't,
what
you
you're
will.
saying.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead.
Yeah, so we did hear about Bluebeard in the last episode, like briefly mentioned, obviously
Yeah.
a rich fable, and then we kind of see him. Trio's right, his beard is definitely
Definitely-
not
definitely
blue.
not.
Absolutely
blue.
black. Yes,
It's like
not-
it's more black.
It's severely lacking blue.
But Bluebeard, he's a character in the comic and the game. He's from the French folktale. He's from a French folktale, which is most famously written by Charles Perrault, who we talked about last time. I think he did.
boy.
Yeah, one of the other ones. This was published in 1697. The tale.
Telltale.
Yeah. The tale tells the story of a wealthy man inhabiting I'm getting real
okay.
tired.
It's
Telling
alright.
tales, tall tales.
In the habit of murdering his wives and the attempts of the present one, he tries to avoid it, and then obviously like that wife finds out what he's doing. And that's how he gets in trouble in the game. The one wife he's on finds out, and
yeah.
then they crack down on him. So
They're like, "Hey, stop
Bluebeard is a
murdering."
like convicted
Knock it off.
murderer. Oh, like almost like worse than Bigby.
Yeah,
Even- like I don't think
definitely.
Bigby's like really.
I
Killed
would
a lot of
say so,
people.
absolutely.
Yeah, but
He
like
was trying to, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Woodsman stopped him.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So that was a cool part in the Woodsman. I don't know if he confesses that in the last episode, right?
Oh, yeah, that he was just
going
there
to
to, like,
rob
rob
the
them.
people.
That
Yeah.
was sick.
That
I
was a
love
good.
that.
That was a
That
good
was
little
like,
moment.
hell yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was during the
Yeah, just a
interrogation
sad
portion.
drunk guy being like, "I'm not a hero. I was there. to
I
be a
just got
piece of
lucky.
shit."
Yeah, I was about to rob those fucking people.
So were you good cop, bad cop?
I was very good cop with him.
Yeah,
I didn't beat him up
same.
at all.
Same with
I
D.
smacked him up a little bit. I hate Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
That's
Yeah,
why I
they
felt
are
like
assholes.
Woody. I was like more. I was a bit more.
Yeah, if I had
because
Woody there, I
I
would've been
genuinely didn't. I was like, he didn't obviously do
Yeah.
this. So I'm gonna.
Right.
I'm gonna play a little nice here. So he wanted cigarettes. He
Yeah.
wanted his booze. So I was schmoozing him a bit, and I finally got him to admit
Yeah.
that Lily was coming over to his place. And then Faith showed up that
right.
night instead.
Right, as we find out later.
Yeah,
Yes.
Faith showed up instead. That got him all riled up.
Yeah,
And then, yeah.
I don't know how it goes if you do the good cop playthrough, but since I laid into Tweedledee a little bit, Toad and TJ upstairs are watching on the mirror, and they're like pretty scared of you because they're like, "Oh, we were watching what you did. You scared me, boy, again." Last week I didn't have the impressions. This week I made sure to bring them.
the accents.
But,
fucker.
but yeah, no,
Big wolf.
yeah, so the whole time I was like, whatever, it's Ichabod and Bluebeard. No one's gonna care that I'm beating the crap out of this pig man. And then I go upstairs and TJ's like crying. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah, so he never brings that up with me. He's looking at. I forget. I'm trying to remember who he's looking at in the mirror with me. But he
Probably just not even you then, I guess.
yeah, because you do catch him looking at something.
But he
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, and you asked me, he's like, nothing.
Interesting.
And you
so
gotta-
if you play it bad, he's looking at you and he's like, what the?
look at this fucker.
Look at this guy.
So, with D, you kind of find out that he was investigating Faith because Faith stole something from his boss. That's kind of what he confesses, and it's pretty obvious also that he did not murder Faith.
That's still up in the air.
Yeah, sure,
Just kidding, yeah.
Yeah.
possibly. Yeah, but like, I'm like, like you're kind of playing nice with him, and he's giving you the information, and he's kind of, things are coming out, and it's pretty clear that he was, like he showed up to Faith's apartment looking for her, not for any other reason, and you were there. And he even says like for me, you were there. You saw me. Like that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And then Bluebeard gets pissed that you're not laying into him. And you fight Bluebeard, as I'm sure I think all three of us did. If you're bad cop, Crane tries to intervene and you can like beat up Crane.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like physically?
I think you give him a little
I don't think I ended up doing that, but yeah, I didn't get into it with Bluebeard because I guess I was probably more on the side.
Right,
of
where Crane,
Crane
is like, hey, stop.
He was like, hell yeah, this is dope.
Yeah.
It's like, I like this.
Awesome.
Kill him. Let me kill him.
Bluebeard's cool.
Yeah.
And then
Blackbeard, really,
unexpectedly, out of nowhere, Snow White walks in.
Who saw that coming?
She's not dead. Cue title.
Yeah. That shit must have been crazy for, how old am I? 18-year-old?
I don't remember really... Like I don't really remember like being like whoa like I don't know.
That's how I was with anything back then though. I was young and excited. I was like oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I would watch like a pretty bad movie. I'm like, that's so whoa.
Like I thoroughly enjoyed Spawn 1995, and it's not a good.
You know
movie.
what I just thought of, and I think this is pretty.
As a child, I loved it.
This is a pretty astute observation.
I like Terminator 3.
I hope you're in on this.
Yeah.
Snow White reminds me of Kim Wexler from Better Call Saul.
I never watched Better Call Saul.
God damn.
I would actually give you I've watched the first 4 seasons.
She has a Kim Wexler vibe.
I would say overall with her hair, I would agree. I would actually agree with that.
Yeah. The way she dresses
and the way she even talks and stuff. I would give you her mannerisms.
Yeah.
I should say Kim Wexler.
Big Kim Wexler fan.
Well, Kim Wexler has the
Snow White.
The Snow White in her. I should say.
I know this lady.
Yeah. Kim. How do you know? Kim.
I don't know what I've seen her.
But yeah, she comes in. Apparently, she got called to the Toad's house because they found another body. They found the body of the head that you guys found.
Yeah.
TJ was going for a swim in the mob boss's lake where they drop bodies on cinder blocks.
Yeah. I love TJ. TJ's so sick.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, poor guy.
Cool little toad. Yeah. And then so Snow comes up to us. She's all pissed because she couldn't find you. And
we're like, I thought we were dead.
I don't know. What do you want me to do? And he ends up, and she ends up taking us down to the body, right? So, what'd you guys find? What happened?
Some evidence.
That's what I like. Moving on. Anyways, that's all we need.
Yeah, so we find out that a fable is glamored to look like Snow White, which we kind of talked about like quickly right at the end of the last episode. It's Lily. It's Holly's sister. She's a troll.
Yeah.
So she has to be
nice.
She's a nice woman. So she has to be glamored in general, but she's glamored to look like Snow White as like a fetish.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I think it's a very interesting concept.
And I think I know who that we know, or at least I thought I remembered who that's for, but maybe not because now I'm remembering.
Under the table.
No, it's all right.
Footsies.
Now I think I actually do remember who it is because of how they. Anyways, continue. I don't want to spoil
at all.
this. Yeah, I'd rather if Joey doesn't remember, I don't want to give it away. But I think I remember why.
Remember what?
Who she is glamored for?
Like who is
why?
Mr.
Like
Smith?
what is she glamored?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's revealed at the end.
I don't remember.
It's revealed at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Wait, who? Ichabod. Ichabod. Yeah. Duh.
So it is. How do they reveal that? I missed that part.
He's watching you through the mirror.
Oh,
and there's a picture.
They
of
find the picture of him, grabbing on her, and then it zooms out from the mirror, and Ichabod's.
Maybe I was looking down at my
stuff.
phone. I have problems with finishing
Dude,
things.
I do that so much.
Like Gooch, we were watching Andor. I'm like, did you know that those parts were for the Death Star? And Gooch was like, did you not watch the end of the show?
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't.
No, that happens. There's definitely been dialogue.
Yeah.
There's been dialogue options in this replay that I've missed because
Wait,
I'm like,
serious?
Oh,
I'm on my couch.
I missed 2 today.
Yeah, it's like happening. I'm on my couch. I'm like,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh wait, I'm doing this for a podcast.
So it is for Ichabod. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was
Yeah,
for Woody at first, and then I remembered by the okay.
No. Yeah. So we find out it's Holly. She's in a pretty rough shape.
Yeah.
Doing Mundy drugs. Doing heroin in her leg.
Yeah, she got track marks.
Yeah.
You probably have to do a shit ton of like Mundy drugs if you're a Fable.
Oh, I can't.
You probably
imagine.
have to do like at
Well,
least.
and like, do they heal?
dose.
Like, how does that work?
How does track marks work?
No, how does
work?
fables work with like? Because they're
Drugs?
very
I
well,
think
just
they
things in general.
heal-
They apparently seem to take a punch really good
I think they heal like not that. Well, then I don't know.
because they live for hundreds of years. They seem to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Bigby.
The axe and Woodsman's head.
Well, no,
and
the
stuff.
eye. Yeah,
Oh,
that.
and
But then
eyes,
the
yeah.
eyes with Beast. I'm like, and then
I
he can
think
just see.
the
I'm
way
like,
I interpret it, at least, is that they're just like borderline
durable.
immortal.
Yeah.
So like in the same sense
Yeah.
that like humans would eventually recover from these things. if
Sure,
didn't
they do.
die from complications. They
Only
just
way
don't
you're going
die
to do
from
it is by
complications.
cutting your head off or
Exactly.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something
Zombie
super
style.
fatal. Yeah.
Walking Dead style.
Yeah, exactly.
Which also we have our boy Lee back in the mix.
I was going to say.
Save it! Save it!
Oh, we're saving it.
Save it!
Sorry.
Every time I do that,
know,
I
we get ahead
spoil
of
the
ourselves.
flashback.
It's all right.
So yeah, we're doing our investigative work. Snow's a little distressed from it, but one of the things we
Understandably.
find out while we're examining the body is it's not really a good glamour. It's a black market one,
And it seems to be linked to like a totem, right? Like that thing in her.
Which,
Yeah,
they never. I don't know
Because
if
in
they
the other
comment
ones,
on-
the glamour, like it doesn't seem like that's how the
Yeah,
other
that's-
ones work.
yeah.
Like it seems like it's more of just the witches cast a spell
That's a good
on
point.
you.
I didn't think about that.
Because
Yeah,
she
yeah.
says even I think Snow at one point she's
It's
like
something you take.
witches don't really use items anymore. They don't imbue
Yeah.
things really much anymore or something like that. So I was because as soon as they take it off the body, that's when she turns
back into a troll.
So that's my assumption is that that's like a totem of some kind, like a totem.
yeah, that
you know what I
need
mean?
the glamour, whatever like black market glamour they have.
Because that's why they
needs
keep
a
the
totem
hair, that's
associated
why-
hair
with
is
it.
in there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
don't they have something else? Hair in the picture.
They have the hair in the picture.
I
I
thought
guess
the
he
picture
needs to
had
know what Snow White looks like.
Yeah.
Even though I guess he probably does, but
Yeah.
maybe you know what Kim Kardashian looks like, but you don't know what exactly she looks like.
It's like Jumper. You need to see where you're jumping.
Got it. Yeah.
Thank
Hayden Christensen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
I got
what-
it.
Thank you guys.
If I watched Jumper back then, I'd be like, what?
I was blown away. I loved that movie when I was growing up.
And so when Bigby's talking about black market glamour, so it's pretty clear that to get by, that fables are resorting to buying, like going on the black market, or that they're
logging on the Silk Road,
like
the deep web.
right, like, and then Bigby even says like
The Yellow Brick Road.
Snow's like, there's no black market glamours. All the the 13th floor, they all make them there, and
Well,
it's like,
then-
but they're, and Bigby's like, but they're really expensive and people can't afford them, so they're gonna like.
And then
get
what's his
around
name
it.
said he's like they're not illegal to, like, you can make your own.
Yeah, that's
like it's
right.
not necessarily
And it doesn't mean they're
illegal.
going to be good.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
in this case, she was, that was not a legal glamour, and clearly they were
But
talking
that's
about the
but-
legality of looking like another fable.
Yeah,
But they don't
especially
even
now
say
we're
again,
on.
like, what's his name, Bluffkin is like, there's no laws on the books against this. Like, you can
Yeah.
create your own. It's not technically illegal,
But
to
it's
create,
like immoral.
but they're like, that's probably not
immoral.
a good idea. Yeah, like
It's
so
weird.
Well, but especially I think the more moral thing is to make yourself especially look like someone else. I think is a
Yeah.
bigger thing. But I did think that was an interesting kind of point from Bluffkin of like, it's not
Buff.
really illegal.
buff,
Buffkin,
not bluff.
I like
yeah.
Bluffkin better,
Bluffkin.
but Bluffkin.
Blumpkin.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting kind of point of
got
information. These games are very good at, like the Harry Potter movies when we were watching it. At least I think filling you in on the lore
Yeah.
of the world without beating you over the head with it and like really
it's-
kind of
it-
like
it's really
this
good
is
at-
like they do explain what a Mundi is, but it feels natural through the story. It's not like,
Yeah.
well, a Mundi is a mundane who is not a magical person, blah blah blah. Like it's like, okay,
Well, the one thing they talk about at this moment is the witching well.
Mm-hmm.
And they like briefly mention what it is, but I was like, okay, like I looked it up and like got the definition. The witching well is a magical well that acts as a portal to the lands of the deceased and was used by Fabletown to dispose of fabled bodies on the assumption that they could not return. So they're going back to that more immortality thing.
kind of like the Chamber of Guff from Evangelion.
Exactly.
A lot of people would say.
Dude.
and like in
just-
You
Jumper
could not.
when he jumps,
You
It's
could
also like
not
Jumper.
have said it better.
Everyone out there knows exactly
so-
what we're talking about. Now.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't Evangelion
Locked
fans, you
everyone in.
fucking know. Key of Nebuchadnezzar, come on. So, and they also like shun fables there. They throw them in there when they have committed such a crime that would.
like death penalty shit almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
And,
interesting.
but Bluebeard's not down there.
Nah, he can kill.
well, he
can
left.
Kill Baze.
So it seems like
That's more of just like a he killed a lot of people.
they leave
Yeah.
the homelands, and I guess like
After
just
that,
like
they
Big
kind
B,
of
they reform.
they wipe every they're
reform.
like
Yeah.
listen, clean slates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like everyone likes him more than Bigby though in a weird way. Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't
no,
know.
I
It's
was
just,
gonna
right,
say
like-
the same thing. He killed all of his wives.
Yeah.
But
all of them.
Bigby's the bad guy.
He
All
was
right.
he was trying to.
Yeah. No, he killed. He's kind of like King
Well, he-
Henry
yeah.
the Seventh.
He ate the grandma, right? In the story, that's the little thing because he's
Yes.
waiting in the bed.
Oh yeah. Okay, he did kill.
And he does attack the woodsman. And he does blow those three little pigs' house down.
That's true.
And that was a crime that not
Do
even
we
a
ever find
mother
out
could
about the
forgive.
two other little pigs?
I don't think so. Just Colin.
What if they're glamored?
Probably
Can Colin glamour?
Probably
Yeah.
died of
Well,
it.
that's why he yells at him when he's at the office. He's like, "Why aren't you glamored?
Yeah. Well, no.
Go back to the farm, you
Well, but
fuck."
that was the thing I thought. But that was the thing. I don't think like Colin seemed like it's not that he couldn't. It's that it seemed like he couldn't glamour himself because
No,
even
he
if
can.
he wanted to,
He can't afford it.
Oh, that's what it was.
He cannot afford it.
Oh, I see.
And he's a fucking pig, so
Obviously,
he has to.
a
He literally-
talking pig. Yeah, at that.
Yeah. So
I
like
think you probably just get away with not talking and
That's
smoking
what I agree.
cigarettes.
I mean, but
Yeah,
you
just
would
walk
get animal
around.
controlled
Is that-
around in a
is
city,
that-
probably.
yeah, I guess.
Is that pig smoking a cigarette?
If he had someone with him though, and then they could just be like, nah,
Like,
this is just
No,
my
this is
pig.
my pet pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Put 'em on a
exactly.
leash.
Bigby could be with him.
Yeah.
They can't
many
risk
ways
it.
around this.
Or they got a fucking Men in Black, the fucking police station.
They fucking they mind wipe you. Oh god. So we find out that it is Lily's sister, or she is
Holly's
Lily.
sister.
It's Holly's sister,
She
and
is
her name is
Lily.
Lily.
Correct.
Okay, so we get all the info off the body, and we have to go talk to.
News.
Oh, so did you like check her all out? Did you get did you get the petals out of her
didn't want
hands?
to.
Yes, I ripped open the hands.
Did you
for the
open up
petals.
her blouse?
I asked Snow if it was okay to do that.
I tried
gotcha.
not
was like-
to, but I had to.
She was like,
I was like, Snow, we got to
Do
do
it.
it, and then she's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll do it.
she has a tattoo under there. What's under her blouse?
No,
Oh, it's
no, that was
her
on
thong?
no, that
Yeah.
yeah, you see her thong,
Yeah.
but then you see the tattoo when
Tattoos
she
on
has
her leg.
declammers, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that wasn't there when she
and that
had
was
Snow.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh shit, she's a troll."
Yeah.
Like, whoa,
What the fuck? Yeah, and I love how.
This thing's hideous.
Well, and I do think it's interesting how Ichabod's like, get these fucking filthy things. They shouldn't have even come from
and
the
her,
motherland or whatever.
Her brooch is like Lily's brooch, and like you know,
Dwarven metal or something, right?
yeah, and it's from the homelands. And Snow's like, you know, like they clearly like did not. The buttons are different. Like they didn't seem to try that hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's, I think they tried. It
did
works.
pretty
Yeah, I think it, a button off
fool
and
them.
I mean,
full Bigby.
we'll ask Ichabod if he, you know, if he was into it.
Also, I guess you could also. Well, nah, never mind. I was gonna say you can make the argument that they only needed the head to drop off, but that's not why they made the glamour in the first place. So that would have nothing to do with it.
They
Yeah.
made it for money. They wanted peddle
for
some.
some fantasies.
Yeah.
And for Bitchabods,
Oh, Bitchabod.
For Bitchabod
See, now I'm pissed I
domain.
missed that last moment. How did I miss that? What did I like? What the fuck
I mean,
did I do?
they see the picture and they cut away to him looking like
Oh, are those the? Oh.
Ichabod's looking at the picture and he's looking at it through the magic mirror, and then he smashes the magic mirror, smoke and mirrors, mirrors broken.
yeah.
Bum,
No,
bum.
I didn't put that together.
There was also smoke and mirrors with Snow
Right.
White.
Where,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the mirror gets smashed.
Oh,
yeah, said that.
like Gucci said.
Yeah.
And then
So
also
down
the
for a
smoke and
second.
mirror.
Also,
And
the
also
smoke
there's smoke inside the
from
mirror.
the
It's a
from
mirror.
the cigarettes that they're
Correct.
smoking,
There's so much smoke.
Also, there's cigarette smoke. Also.
severe
and
lack of mirrors.
there's a
but-
mirror in the pudding and pie,
That's
and
true.
Toad looks in the mirror.
God, guys, we found the theme.
and Toad is a mirror into another into the
Into the
gates
soul of a
God.
child. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I love it. All right,
This fell off the rails.
where are we? What happened? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So real quick, backtracking until we're in the business office.
Yeah.
Another set of tarot cards. We have the Three of Swords, which represents the pain inflicted by words, actions, and intent on the emotional. Dude, why am I terrible at reading today? The emotional or physical self. The dark clouds gathering in the background mirror this pain, but offer the hope that the storm clouds will disappear. So too will the pain that is hurting you. So I kind of took that as like Snow White dying and going away.
I don't know.
To be honest, I didn't read too much into it.
I didn't
maybe
even-
Well, I'm telling you what they
yeah.
mean.
I didn't even find the tarot cards.
Yeah, they're
You
on the
suck.
desk again.
I keep
They're
not
on the
looking
desk.
Yeah, why don't you look?
I'm trying to speed run this thing,
That's
man.
fair.
I'm a speed runner at heart. Don't make me look up my
What's my
Odyssey.
world record for the Wolf Among Us? We find the moon, which is a symbol of intuition, dreams, and the unconscious. In the foreground is a small pool representing the watery subconscious mind. A small crayfish crawls out of the pool, symbolizing the early stages of consciousness unfolding. A dog and a wolf stand in the grassy field, howling at the moon, representing both the tamed and wild aspects of her mind. Very obvious what that is reflecting to. Obviously, Big B is.
I think it's
two
obvious,
sides.
but you should probably explain it for Trio.
Yeah,
That Big B Wolf is like
He's like
he's trying to be good, but he's natively bad.
Oh, I see.
And
We're
he
all
has
trying to
two
go
sides.
against our. We're trying to go against our own instincts
Right.
and trying to be one with the wolf.
Thanks.
Exactly.
All right.
And our last
Thank
one.
you, Red Wolf Crusader.
No problem. Why'd you just call me like gamer dad?
Because it's the wolf in it. I had to connect.
Oh,
it somehow.
true. Yeah.
Duh. What are we doing, guys?
Right over my head. The hermit stands alone on a mountaintop. The snowy capped range symbolizes his spiritual mastery, growth, and accomplishment. He has chosen his path of self-discovery, and as a result, has reached a heightened state of awareness. In his right hand, he holds a lantern with a 6-pointed star inside. It is the seal of Solomon, a symbol of wisdom. And as the hermit walks his path, the lamp lights his way, but it only illuminates his next few steps rather than the full journey. He must step forward to see where he will go next, knowing that not everything will be revealed at once. So I think that's just like, if I were to read into that in the game, the fact that we don't know where we're going with this mystery. It represents the mystery, Bigby walking the path, not knowing where each step will take him.
I think tarot cards is like up there with like Bible verses and Bible references in media, where like when they put it in there as like kind of a tale of like, oh, this is. I'm like, I usually ignore it.
Joe,
that might be a low frequency brain take.
Joey, when were you born? Let's talk about your
astrology.
Your rising.
Astrology's a bigger one. Yeah, whenever they work that stuff into it, I'm always like,
what time were you born? Are you a rising or a setting?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even know that was a thing.
I'm always rising.
If
grind,
someone
baby.
talks to me about that for longer than 2 minutes, no go.
I think I'm like interested just with mine. That's it.
I have zero interest in it at all. I will say that. For the most part,
Don't
in general,
you want to know your destiny?
Have you ever watched the video? Have you ever watched the video? It's just quick sidebar. It's like they get a bunch of registered astrologists in a room and they try and get them all to read a person and get the same thing. And they're just all wildly different. Yeah. Like just no one, like they're basic, well, you're a rising sign. Okay, then you must be the blah, blah, blah. It's just everyone giving a completely different.
It's kind of like, what are those guys?
It's birthday racism.
Shit, what are those guys that like
It's birthday what?
Birthday racism. I've heard that called before.
It kind of is. Actually, that's a pretty astute observation. Because there's nothing worse than goes,
she's an Aries.
He's a Virgo.
Yeah.
He's a fucking Sag.
What are those guys that talk to the dead?
I'm a Sag.
He's a Sagittarius.
What are those guys that talk to the dead and it's like, oh, I'm talking
mediums?
Yes, mediums. And I feel like astrology, it's kind of like mediums where it's like more about persuasion and reading people,
the person,
which is impressive as an art form.
I would agree. I absolutely agree.
So you guys don't appreciate my reading into the tarot?
No, I absolutely love it, Gooch, and I want you to do it every single episode.
And I will say, I don't want to be coming at this with too negative.
Just tell me how you feel.
I don't want to come at this negative because this is good for me because I literally on my own will skip this every time. I mean, literally I did. I didn't
get you going. I hear you.
So I actually like this.
All right, good.
I was just making an observation.
I hate it.
For all my fellow dumb guys out there who don't like deep layers to things.
Sure.
And just want to be like, what's going on?
It's not an onion. It's just an apple. There's
my
no
fellow
layers.
buffoon fools.
What about the glass onion?
The glass onion does not have layers, so it could be a glass onion.
Didn't watch
Well,
it.
what about ogres?
Ogres do in fact have layers.
Yes.
I was
glass onion.
I was gonna try to say.
I thought it was fun. It wasn't great.
I didn't like Knives Out. So.
Well, then you don't watch it actually.
I do like. Isn't Batista in it?
Yeah, and I thought he was actually pretty good in it too.
You didn't like a movie on a day Armis is in? What the fuck's your problem?
Gooch,
I don't even.
Gooch will be showing up.
I think it's the only one I've seen her in. I never watched that Blade Runner.
Did you watch No Time? She's very small in it, but No Time to Die.
No,
she's great,
Bond.
dude. Paloma.
She was very good in that.
I've never seen a James Bond movie.
You know what?
I think I knew that. I knew that.
I think we actually did.
Yeah, from the mini topic.
If we ever do a rewind review, we're gonna make you come on and watch them all with it.
Having
a fully fresh take on something like that would actually be kind of interesting.
Hell yeah,
but that's a totally different topic.
Let's get back on track, people. We gotta fucking murder solve. So obviously we just talked about it. We find out that this troll is Lily. So guess what we gotta do? As Joey mentioned earlier, we gotta go back to the Trip Trap bar.
What a name, by the way.
And tell Holly what has transpired.
Dude, I would absolutely chill at the Trip Trap bar. It feels like Jake. Have you been to Jake's in Westchester?
Yeah,
that's the same bar.
I got like 4th place on like Barstool sports bars.
You do know what he's talking about?
I've been to Jake's. Yeah, absolutely. It's a hole in the wall. They don't accept anything but cash.
That place
and you
stinks.
have. And
that's terrible.
I will say. But it's so.
I don't care.
I've gone down there and gotten lit up. Like I was like,
I just hate. Honestly, I shouldn't.
It's definitely not a place.
Do you think Jake's will sponsor us?
Maybe Jake's. Hey, come on, guys. Yeah, it's definitely a scene. It's something to experience.
Yeah.
But Gooch, I'm sorry. Carry on.
No, it's okay.
We're back at the Trip Trap.
So we come in. Of course, Gren there, armed or armless, depending on your choices in the last episode, and a new character is standing at the bar as well. Jack Horner. And guys,
is that like Jack and the Beanstalk?
Wait,
I'm sorry. I just was
Spoiling the
I made the biggest discovery of my life this week.
yeah.
Looking into this character.
Okay.
Jack is in the comic and the game. He actually wears the same shirt in the comic and in the game, which I thought was interesting. Jack is an English hero and an archetype stock character appearing in multiple legends, fairy tales, and nursery rhymes.
Oh.
I never, not once in my life, did I make the connection that Jack Be Nimble, Jack Frost, Jack Sprat, Jack and Jill, Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack the Ripper, Spring Heel Jack, Jack and Lantern, and Jack of Hearts were all the same person. Not once.
Is that genuinely supposed to? Like, is that the idea of it?
Yes.
Like it's not
the same Jack.
I'm thinking.
But you don't think? I'm assuming what Joey is from his grunts that
grunts
wasn't
and
the
groans.
exact. That wasn't the intent from the beginning.
No.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I never once thought, why are there a bunch of nursery rhymes with a guy named Jack in it? But
That is
yes,
interesting.
It is that Jack.
Huh.
I'm thinking
He
it was
is that
just like
Jack.
a heroic everyman name.
Jack.
Just relatable.
That just ever. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
well,
if they were
that's what it says. It's,
Yeah.
it's
I
an
would have
archetype.
guessed Jack and the Beanstalk. Just from that, just because that's the most.
That's
that,
why-
when you say
right.
Jack in a fairy tale
Yeah.
lens,
Yeah,
I'm
Jack
like
and Jill.
or even Jack and Jill.
Jack Be Nimble,
It's
Jack
like
Be
the whole
Quick,
thing
Jack
about
Jump
like
Over
all
that
the Pixar
candlestick.
movies are in the same universe, and it's like I don't.
Well, dude,
care.
the Pizza Planet. Come on.
Yeah,
You've seen the.
I mean, they
the
definitely are,
license
but I
plate?
agree. No,
It's just animators putting in Easter eggs.
I agree.
I just thought it was funny.
I
that
love
it-
a conspiracy as much as the next.
So
guy,
in
believe me.
But come on.
in The Wolf Among Us, it's the same character. It's always
Sure,
it's-
I see. They're they're intending for that. in
oh,
this,
right,
yeah.
sick. I like
That
that.
makes sense.
But in real life, it's probably not. But I just never realized. I'm like, there's so many
Good idea,
Jacks.
yeah. That's an interesting thought. Nothing
Yes.
that never crossed my mind.
So I'm trying to remember the conversation with Jack. He's talking way too much.
He's just trying to get a
everyone's
rise out of you, basically.
Jack, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything to him. I think you can like kind of put him in his place. I just kind of let him talk, and he kind of like, he tries
Sputtered
to
out.
like
I think I did.
get a one up on you. Well, yeah, and even Gren says, which I think we should come back to, of like, like we put Lily missing into the business office.
Yeah.
To like, and talking to Snow, like your fucking office, and you didn't do anything about it, which is interesting. I want to come back to that. But yeah, like I forget what Jack says to Big B that.
He just starts talking about like everyone somehow knows that they
Right, that they know that
fished
the
out
murder happened.
The murder, yeah, they're wondering what's going on. He's questioning about why he brought in Woody and all this stuff, or at least for me, why I brought in Woody and what I was doing. With all that.
He does not mention Tweedledee at all.
Yeah, so and then you just get to the point where I kind of ignored him for the most part, and then
Just let him talk, yeah.
Lil, or Molly kind of just goes like,
Holly.
I don't want I don't want any more trouble. Can you just shut the fuck up? And then that's when I revealed as nicely as I could. I was like, tried to do it to her easy. I was like,
he says something that kind of makes you say it. And
and then he's like, I walked into that one or something like. I kind of made him look like an asshole.
right.
Like, yeah, and then,
right. Does he say that the murder was Lily, and it's just like,
yeah, and he's like, who do you think it is? Basically, to her, yeah.
yeah,
And
all
then-
right. Bigby was like, you know who it is. Yeah, you know who was murdered.
And then Molly,
Holly.
Molly Holly, old
Holly
WWE wrestler. Shut
starts
up.
to kind of go through a rigmarole of emotions. She then sort of blames Snow White, but then I feel like for me, I just stayed silent the whole time and kind of let Snow take over.
Yeah.
And she
I
kind
did
of,
too.
you can tell she kind of processes it and kind of then realizes like, all right, I should actually try and cooperate with these people. And then you get a little bit more out of her. Did you promise her body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Whenever somebody asks for Big B to do something that like obviously he can't do as a cop, I'm always like, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll
like
do
I
that.
mean, I'm getting ahead a little bit, but when Beauty asks like, "Hey, can you not put me in the police report on this?" I was like, absolutely, I'll just not do that. Because I know it's a game and I don't have to actually follow through on any of that. So I'm like,
That's true.
no,
You
are you
don't-
kidding me? I got your back.
what a perspective.
It's actually
For me, I was just like,
I was like, let me be nice. Let me do something that I know in real life.
I did do that
would
as well.
never-
I'm like,
nah.
I won't mention it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Not
For
that
me,
it
I
really
was
matters
just like,
at this point.
I was like, yeah, no, I am, because I already didn't tell Beast about you.
I'm a
yeah,
cop.
like
That's my
that's not
job.
enough. This is not going to change anything for you. You're in my police report.
So I think it's interesting that I guess as small as Fabletown is, the business office and the people running it don't really seem to have a grasp on it. Obviously, it's kind of like a...
Gooch, they only care about the elites, the big wigs, the money makers.
It's an analogy for like our own government.
Money
Sure,
talk.
class,
but I'm like,
class stuff, yeah.
Whoa.
Right. I'm generally like, I'm thinking, I'm like, why do they actually have such a tough time like keeping track of their own?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they have a tough time. I just don't think they care. I mean,
Really?
Snow White,
Like-
because Snow White, you see her talking in the, well, not Snow White. I think Snow cares, but I think the upper management, like Ichabod, like she even says in the last episode how they just have to keep turning away the
what?
fables out front, and we only take care of the ones out back who come in through the back door to see him. Like, I don't know. I think those upper management
like
don't care.
logistically though, it is a small, like Fabletown is a small town, but also it's like a pretty small police department from what we know. Like,
I mean, it's one person.
Yeah,
It's Bigby.
It's a single person. Yeah.
Bigby's the sheriff.
And even like the rest of the office is like Snow, Ichabod, and like is Bluebeard actually like employed in the office, or is he just hangs around?
I would assume he's a benefactor.
By the way, who is that guy at the beginning with the red hair? He just kind of walks by you in Snow in the office. It's like a very quick scene. I totally forgot to even. Is he a Fable or is he a?
No, he's somebody at the Woodlands. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
It's like a very quick scene.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
says
and then
something
he
to
like
him.
walks through.
Yeah.
I was looking at my phone. I don't remember.
God damn it, Joey. No.
I have that issue too, guys.
No, we don't.
I'll admit.
Well,
it's fucking. Sometimes I'm like, I gotta put my phone somewhere. I'm like, I gotta pay.
Oh, that's what I do now. I genuinely
man,
I put it in my room,
It's
and then
nice,
I sit out in the family room so I
Yeah,
can't touch
dude,
it. Because even in between
it's
like
so-
loading screens and stuff, it's so easy to have like a response.
I'm like playing like Hogwarts Legacy or fucking Octopath, and I'm like picking up my phone. I'm like, what am
Hogwarts
I
Legacy.
doing? What am I doing? Like instinctually, I'm
We're gonna get some
can I not
comments on Hogwarts
Can
Legacy.
Can I not just sit here?
It's the game
and fucking play the game.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to pick up my phone? Anyway,
I know if it's in the corner of your eye, there's just always that thought of like, dude.
well,
that
dude,
thing
it's
is fun.
such an easy.
Like picking this thing up would be so fun.
I gotta
right
check my
now. Even
phone.
right now, I'm like looking down and I'm like, I should check my text. It's like,
I open up
oh,
Twitter
no.
by accident right now because it's literally like
Yeah.
a reflex. But one thing, another quick sidebar that I did notice while I was playing today, my bathroom mirror was falling off the wall, so I had to pull everything out really quick. And then while I was doing this, so that's why I missed a bunch of audio options, and I forgot to pause it. And I was like, God damn it!
We love a good home emergency. That reminds me. I mean, I'm
love
just
a good home
not that related. I mean, Life is Strange is kind of like a Telltale game, but
absolutely, yeah.
I want to get this
It's
on
the
the
same
pod.
scheme.
One of the most Life is Strange moments that's happened in my life was when I was playing Life is Strange and the power went out and there was a loud bang. And I went outside and a guy crashed into the telephone pole outside my house.
Was this your house in Broomall?
Yeah. Yeah. It was literally, I was like playing the game and it was just like bang and it cut out. And then I went out and I saw like the telephone pole in our front yard, like car under it. And I was like, damn, that is strange.
Man,
Wow.
that's life really is
So,
strange.
not super on point, but we got to get that on the pod. That's a good story.
So
Where were we?
we had just broken it to Holly that
Yes.
that
Yes.
her
we were
sisters
talking
died.
about the business.
She was talking about how she works at the Puddin' and Pie. That gives you your next lead. Bing bang boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
You're on your way over to the old Puddin' and Pie.
Yeah, so I do have a lot of questions about this establishment, but we're
Chop or pudding pie?
the Puddin' and Pie.
Pudding pie.
Full nudity in this game.
Yeah,
I
knew-
forgot.
Did you forget?
I totally forgot. Yeah.
You get to see the
Well,
Little
not full
Mermaid's
nudity.
boobs.
You get top nudity. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Not
No vag or pee.
or pee. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the GTA strip clubs.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're definitely gonna get full frontal in GTA 6.
That'd be cool.
I'm telling. I mean, it would be great.
Actually, cut that. Bay won't like that. Cut that.
Wait, what did he? I didn't even hear what
I
he
was just
said.
saying it'd be great.
Did you hear what I said?
I'm
before?
not cutting it out.
Oh, I was. Oh god. Did you,
And right there.
And
That's where you know.
canceled. See you later. Yeah, so we're greeted by, I think her name is Vivian. I have a fun fact about her. She greets us. Knows who Bigby is. You're usually not. You don't usually frequent here, and I tell him, that Holly told us about Georgie, and I'm like, I think I mentioned that I'm here to see Georgie. Like, I'm gonna clear up. Like, I'm here to see.
to the woman
boss.
out front, I was like,
Yes.
I'm a friend of Georgie's.
Yeah, I didn't say
Yeah,
that.
it's,
Does she believe you?
she's like, oh, a friend, really? And then she kind of just brings you inside. She's,
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
think I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she walks you in. She's kind of telling you about the Puddin' and Pie. It's clearly, obviously, it's a strip club, but it's also a brothel, essentially.
No, absolutely.
So is it only for Fables, or do Mondays go here
No,
too?
it's Mondays too, because that's when what's her name's Beauty's talking to him. It's at least to me, she seemed to imply that it's just kind of every day. A lot of Fables go there,
I
but
guess
it's
a
also
cop
a lot
does
of Monday
just
too.
walk out of
That's what I
there.
mean. It was just a
Yeah.
regular cop, so I think
Yeah,
some
'cause I'm
regular
like-
Joe Schmoes are
Yeah.
going. I think that club is on the outskirts where it's mixing a little bit more. Again, I don't think
Interesting.
I don't
right?
think there are Fable only maybe there are Fable only establishments that they keep to themselves, but they do seem to interact with the Mondays just on like the regular and those types of situations, and especially when they're trying to like make money.
I mean, even Little Mermaid, like having legs and working there is like, all right, it's definitely at least if you're a Fable, you're.
That's what I mean.
Did you
Everyone's always
ask her about her
glamour, so-
legs?
I did, yeah. She says they're not glamour.
Yeah,
Which
because she
like,
gets
what?
she gets legs in the Sorry.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it.
I was on my phone at the
and
end
I'm like,
of Little Mermaid.
wait, I want to ask her. I asked her something. I want to ask her something more important than that. But I'm like, are her legs glamored, or are they? It's when obviously her fable has
Does she
happened.
keep her legs?
I was
going
gonna say, I thought at the end of the fable though, she like in Little Mermaid, she goes back in the ocean.
Yeah,
Does she?
Yeah, she
That's what
doesn't
I'm
keep her
wondering.
because she doesn't like she misses the ocean.
Right,
I
Eric.
think.
Yeah. Thanks, Disney.
I am not
But
watching
maybe
that
that's
remake,
not what
by the way.
happens
No,
in the original.
No, that's
'Cause
absolutely. I'd be curious to
the
see what the
actual
actual folk tale is.
yeah.
And I do like how they kind of explore later when we get into the room how they have like Mundy versions of the stories, and then like
Oh yeah.
they're
I do
different
like
from
that.
really how it
Yeah.
happens. So
Right,
Yeah.
and I think
That's
Big
interesting.
B mentions
that's
that.
what I mean. Yeah, when he's talking about the one book.
Yeah.
So we come into Georgie Porgy is I guess like Narissa, who's the Little Mermaid, is stripping for him because I guess they're just
She's trying to work there. She's starting out.
She's
Yeah.
trying to get hired.
Yeah. Or she seems. I think she seems to work
she's
there already.
working on,
But yeah,
she's working on it.
Yeah, she's
and then we
training.
have Clever Hans, who is not Hansel and Gretel, by the way, not that character.
I would have guessed
different
that.
character.
yeah, I just
yes,
assumed
that's what I thought it was. It's not.
Oh,
it's,
Han.
His name is Hans.
I thought it was from Hans and Franz. Really.
So we talk to Georgie Porgy, who's game character only. He is a popular English nursery rhyme, which has been around for a very long time. It goes like this: Georgie Porgy, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the girls came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away.
I see the pudding and pie in there.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I'm like, oh,
that's good. That's
I'm
good.
like, this is awesome. I'm like, now I get it.
So he's not a fable. He's just from a nursery rhyme.
No,
Is
he
what
is a
you're saying.
fable.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like he was made. He wasn't just made for this game, right?
No.
Or was he? Okay.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought that's
this
what
is
you were
the
saying.
actual nursery
Okay,
rhyme.
I see.
Yeah. And I'm like, I like Georgie Porgy sounds familiar.
Yeah, Georgie Porgy. I feel like
He's
it's
a
from movie.
he's a fucking Brit. Yeah, he's from fucking North Wellington.
He probably eats those fish and chips. We have really good accents here.
I mean, I'll fucking do. You know,
Your sounds kind of Australian there, but
I'll fucking get it.
Georgie Porgy, how did you treat him?
with respect. I hit him. I didn't hit any of his stuff.
That's not
Treat her
respect.
with respect. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
he was asking for it.
I
and
broke his boombox and I kicked the keg.
I didn't. I kicked
That
the
was
keg.
it.
That was the only one I did.
Yeah, I broke the
Yes.
and then after that.
So
yeah.
any item I didn't touch when I got the opportunity to hit him, I hit him.
Yeah, I
and
think I
it
did.
worked out. I got the key and I got the book.
Yeah, I mean, so did I. I kicked.
did
It's funny
too.
because I kicked the keg and you
was like-
see the thing
Yes.
underneath it.
Oh.
And then and then he.
I think the keg is like the most important one.
to do yeah. 'cause
Which
you
So
just
made
see
me
it.
feel like an elite gamer.
when I
That's the
did
only
that one too, I was like,
I was like, yeah,
So
obviously.
I think we worked
And you, like,
our
kick
way
it into the
back
wall.
to
Yeah.
the bar because like I eventually he just kind of kept spilling the guts and we got like something moved. Maybe he picked up the keg and I'm like, and he's like, what's that? And he's like,
Okay.
oh, it's been here. I don't have a key. He's got the key.
interesting.
Yeah. So I got everything I wanted without kind of provoking him other than just like, give him a nice fucking gut punch.
1, 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, we got his.
It was pretty funny not breaking anything because it's literally just Georgie and Bigby walking around
From spot to spot.
Yeah, and him and Bigby will like stare at something. Then George's like, "Oh, come on, man, please don't
don't
break
do
that." And then he'll
What's
walk
the-
somewhere
what-
else, and you'll be like, "It's pretty nice." He's like, "Oh, come on, no, don't do that." It's pretty funny.
I love how we just did
It
two
is.
different accents.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, obviously.
gotta do- we
I
just-
mean, his was more on point.
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
ours, so-
I'm
but
like
it's-
IRL
You
chat
fucking
GPT.
knob. You fucking bitch. Big, come on, mate. You fuck.
he's such a little bitch, but then he ends up giving you the key.
And then Hans comes up to you and says, we're like,
Well, it's in the middle of the convo. He's like, well, why don't you check the book that you keep with everyone's name? And
he's like,
it's
shut the
Georgie.
fuck up. And he's like, Hans, come here. So this is Clever Hans, game character only. Yeah, he's from a fairy tale from the Brothers Grimm about a boy who ruins his engagement with a girl through a variety of comedic events. But he is that
Hans.
his fable is Clever Hans. That's what it is.
Clever Hans.
It's not Hansel and Gretel, which is what I thought it was all this time.
I would have guessed. That's definitely if you asked me for sure.
Yeah. But he's an aspiring stripper as well.
Oh, good for him.
He's not just working to work there. He wants
see.
he wants to dance.
Hell yeah.
I
And
noticed,
how can you stop a man?
I noticed
wants to
that man
dance?
wasn't wearing something.
What?
It's funny. None of the guys wear ribbons.
Oh yeah. Their lips aren't sealed.
Well, he's not a prostitute.
Well, so does he not have male
Oh,
prostitutes?
yeah. I guess it is only if you're.
True.
I'm
Well,
gonna
maybe
assume.
he isn't.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe he's a dancer.
Good point to bring it up because Vivian, when she, I think, is that her name? Yes. When she's walking in, our lips are sealed. Discretion is our guarantee. Goes through the whole thing. Obviously, faith says that earlier and like leads us on and pokes to the ribbon. Does Narissa have a ribbon on? Yes. She does. Narissa has a ribbon and Vivian both have ribbons on.
Yep.
So it's like pretty clear that like there's something
going on there.
Yeah, there's something going on.
I am curious how much of this I picked up on. Like, I wish I could remember back of how much I picked up on as I was going through.
Because I mean,
that's definitely very telegraphed.
It's pretty obvious. Yeah. Because you go up to Narissa and you start talking to her. Pretty interesting. One, because her name is Narissa, and you would think it's Little Mermaid, so it's Ariel. Fun fact. I'm jumping a little bit ahead. In The Little Mermaid is actually never named. She does not have a name in the original.
Like the actual original. Okay.
Yeah, but as you can guess, it's a Hans Christian
They
Andersen
probably then
story.
can't use Ariel.
Yeah,
exactly. Then
they have to make up their own.
That
because then you
version
can't
of it.
hide behind the whole. Oh, it's
all of that is exactly
that's specifically.
You can make your own Pinocchio movie, but you can't make your own Disney Pinocchio movie.
And that's why everyone's talking about this new like Mickey Mouse is going to be in the public
domain soon. Yeah,
but it's like it's the Steamboat Willie one. So
I know a bunch of Marvel characters were about to go into the public domain, and then like they sued to get them. Keep
I don't think
it'll
ever happen. I think they'll
just keep throwing money at.
Yeah. So this fairy tale is from 1837. It's pretty much as you think the Little Mermaid to be, as the Disney version is. The only thing I thought was interesting, apparently there's a lot of people who've like studied this, and there's a lot of analysis about why Hans Christian Andersen chose such a tragic story with a happy ending. I don't know why. I'm like, why is that weird? And obviously it's been adapted into a ton of different shit. It's very well known. Yeah, and so you're going into the changing room. You see the cubbies and the note that Lily leaves Faith.
Correct.
For covering for her.
For Woody.
As why
she and that confirms that.
Yeah. That she was actually the one, who was supposed to go. And Narissa kind of, you have the book, you have these numbers and stuff, but none of it makes sense. Georgia doesn't tell you this information, but Narissa kind of is like...
She tells you without telling you.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But what you could do...
is rent a room.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you like
to rent a room?
Yeah. Work with me. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
I'm like, okay.
And you go next door to the open arms?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, which is, I was like, open arms, hug, but also like a knight with arms. That's what I thought.
A knight.
I
don't know what that is.
Like arms.
I'm not.
Arms.
No, I get what you
arms
mean.
and armor, like swords.
Sure.
Like fantasy, fable.
I think you're stretching there a little bit, Gooch.
All right. Well, you go next door. You go next door to where the business is really getting down, and who's sitting at the front desk?
Where the real money's made.
Yeah.
Beauty. She ain't a prostitute. Her secret is out. She works at the open arms. She looks the other way. She's disgusted, but a girl needs to make her money.
Gotta make money.
Thank God we didn't tell Beast. Did you guys tell Beast, or did you?
Nah, didn't tell him.
Beast.
But did you say I didn't see her? Did you go, I'm not getting involved?
I told her I didn't see her.
Okay, yeah.
I think I did too.
And I don't think it matters. Maybe there's like maybe that'll come back. They'll be like, you told him, or maybe Beauty says here, why'd you fucking tell him?
Yeah. Absolutely, I think you see that in the I remember that in the trailer. Like you didn't keep my secret. But
yeah, and then she asks you not to, like you're here on business and room 207, and she even is like, I don't know what the fuck goes on. Well, she does, but it's like, no.
I hear weird noises.
I
all
work
the time.
and that's it. Yeah. I'm done. I hear shit and I make the paycheck and I leave. I don't ask questions.
I am in my job.
Absolutely.
I'm like, look, whatever else is going on in the office, I'm not.
Don't ask, don't tell. Oh no, wait, that's a different policy. Continue.
Yeah, but she eventually lets you up. Obviously, I don't think she, I think you like kind of have to persuade her, but like obviously it has to happen. Did you guys investigate any other door besides the one at the end?
Hell no.
Did you go into room 207?
No.
Because I
207 or 204. You mean like the one that you get?
Right. You actually have 204.
Yeah. What is that? No,
I don't know.
Did you? You didn't?
No. I went right to 207.
We all should have.
I keep forgetting that we're doing a podcast, so we should probably be investigating the details. But when I'm playing, I'm literally like,
you're just going through it. No, hey, that's an interesting kind of view to have of like or viewpoint to have on here to know like this is what I got when I just kind of went through it and just did the shit.
I'm gonna replay it, and then next episode I'll tell you what's in 204.
Fantastic. We'll hold you to that.
You can go back to the chapter select.
Yeah,
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start from the beginning of episode 1. I'm gonna get back up to it.
Love it.
So we fight with Beast, and you guys were saying in the beginning you kind of held back and you got a game over during that.
Yeah. So the one part where he like, you throw him into the wall, then he threw me into the other wall, and then he like takes a pipe off the wall and like pushes you against the wall. And if you don't press A, you do get a game over. But other spots, I just didn't punch him or I didn't do things, and that didn't game over.
That's right before you gouge his eyes, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's like
you have to do that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I fought him, but I think the one where it was like you had him on the ground and maybe you were like beating his face.
I stopped
I
too. Yeah. Again, he gets his eyes. Big B's fingers go fully in his eyes. And he's like, I can still see. I'm like, what? How does this work? Anyways, that was the one point from that fight.
Yeah, and in the struggle, we burst through 207, and then we get like it's that moment where like, oh shit.
Also, we should mention that the reason I don't know if we did that Beast is fighting you is because he thinks you're cheating on or Beast is cheating or Beauty is cheating on you with.
He sees them. He knows what the joint is, and he sees
he knows what's going on.
He's like, dude, come on, your wife ain't that.
Oh, and I realized he probably was following Big B, right? Or did he just happen to show up at the time?
That's a good question. Maybe we'll learn how he shows up. I don't know. Yeah, but he does just kind of show up.
You burst into the room, and that's when he finally gets his shit together and realizes while you're there,
oh shit, this bed is covered in blood
and roses, or not roses and petals.
Even if he saw Big B walking by and go in, like, why would he even be like care enough to?
I know it's a very
That's interesting.
Either way, not very important. Just more of a thing that I noticed. We get in the room. It's the murder scene. We see the petals that are in Snow's hand, or the fake Snow's hand, if you
Lily.
Open that up.
You're really bad with names.
Right now, it's tough, Gooch. You've been bad with talking today. Okay?
And I've been on point.
Yeah, Joey's holding this fucking podcast together.
Fucking kidding me.
He is the peanut butter. He is the peanut butter and jelly to our sandwich with the bread.
What kind of bread?
I'm a white bread on my PB and J's personally.
All right, we'll stop.
Before this gets ugly. We burst in. We see the murder scene. There's blood all over the bed.
Blood.
This is obviously where it happened. You do some investigating. You find out this guy has a fucking Snow White fetish out the wazoo.
The dress, the book, the apple. He's
all
got the whole
stuff.
nine.
He's got the music. He's got everything. And
man knows how to pleasure a woman. Let me tell you.
I mean, he must before cutting her head off, anyways. Yeah. But so, did you connect all the evidence to did you get each thing of like you connected the evidence?
Yes.
Yeah. I think you might have to.
It's very easy.
No, you don't.
I don't think you can because you can probably
miss it.
choose there's one part where you find the dress in the closet and you can be like, well, maybe he's a cross dresser or something like that.
Yeah. And well, it's like, well,
I'd pick that. I'm thinking about it.
I was being funny.
Yeah. I was like, what? Let me just say this.
Yeah, the apple I think was one of them, and then
the
bed is set up to be like
the,
her coffin when she's sleeping,
and you find her like the Mundy version they say of her story, like I was saying earlier, on the bed. So yeah, this guy seems to have had a real obsession with Miss Snow White,
which is why Lily would be glamored as him because this guy is paying top dollar.
Yeah, and that makes so much sense with how he's acting.
Where was the picture?
On the ground.
It was in the envelope under the bed, right? Don't you see it once you pick up the apple?
Yes. Yeah. I just didn't remember where the picture came from.
This is all very fresh in my mind now. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently you did not know Ichabod Crane was at the end.
Well,
so
that's the
maybe
part
not
that I
as fresh as you think.
That's not even that it's fresh. I just didn't even see it. So that's a whole different story.
Trio's got to pay attention.
Yeah, I got to watch the last 2 minutes.
Luke's father. Also,
what?
By the way. Sorry.
I was just talking about that.
What? Star Wars?
I wonder
the
if
fact that everyone knows that spoiler.
I'm curious, like if we're past the point where that like gets used in pop culture a lot anymore. Like,
I'm sure.
I feel like it's definitely still referenced. Don't get me
What a
wrong,
sidebar.
but I feel like back in the last in the 2000s, like it was all in every. I am your father.
Yeah.
I'm curious if it's even possible to avoid that. Anywho, sorry. Continue.
No, it's okay.
That's a good question. I like that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Major
I
spoilers.
have thoughts. It's like a spoiler that everyone knows.
Yeah, like how do you not?
But like
know
when
that?
Star Wars first came out, like.
Oh,
that's crazy information.
Someone shit a brick in the theater.
You could launch nukes with that information.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Height of the Cold War.
I'm sure there's people who've heard the whole "I'm your father" thing and all that, but
not necessarily connected it. Yeah.
So then you get there and you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty crazy, man.
So we find the envelope with the picture, and it is Mr. Smith is Ichabod Crane. he's the one fucking Lily.
Sycamore Maine.
Yeah, and his sick, twisted fetish. And he, as of now, is the one who killed Lily. And he's watching him through the magic mirror, and he smashes it, and that is the end of episode 2.
Smoke and mirrors. And that's
literally,
actually
I think
Smoke
I
and
looked
Mirrors.
down at my phone for the part where he was looking. Like, I saw him pick up the photos, and I saw like the first 2 of Snow and you back like a year ago.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I like, and I think I looked down at my phone
Because
right
I guess
that.
he gave it to Lily or somebody, because he probably is the one who gets her hair as well. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because he works with her.
Apparently someone broke into her apartment too. She says
perfume?
and the perfume they bought because her perfume is on the desk at the
Right, but the
thing.
picture is
the
ripped.
picture is from
Did
her
you think
apartment.
that comment was weird? It's like, you wouldn't think that would be weird if somebody went in your house, ripped a picture, and been like,
Yeah, she's kind of just like, I was wondering
very,
where
what
that
happened
went.
to
very
that picture?
dismissive. Yeah.
No,
Very
it would
odd.
make more sense if they just took the whole. Well, I'm wondering what she meant. Did she mean she found half of the ripped picture, or the picture just disappeared
probably-
they ripped it in half? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you leave just like a half ripped picture there, that would catch your
Yeah,
eye.
'cause
But if
it
you were
was
like, oh, that picture's missing.
It was
But
of
they
her and Rose Red, who's her sister. I don't know if
Interesting.
that's. I'm sure that's not real in real life, but yeah, pretty. Another cliffhanger with another cliffhanger, another discovery.
Indeed.
So, boys, let's get into our fun facts. I actually didn't. I made a lot of these up. Not made these up, but I got these myself. Like, they're mine.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
of them. Not all of them. This one's mine. TJ is wearing a Stalk Thing T-shirt, which is a
Oh, I
reference
noticed
to
that.
DC character Swamp Thing.
It's absolutely.
And
a
I'm
Swamp
like,
Thing shirt.
I don't know if DC Vertigo.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
That
I
was
was thinking there.
I did notice that while
Yeah.
I was playing. That's cool.
Bluebeard, who is introduced in this episode, is voiced by Dave Fennoy, voice actor of Lee Everett in The Walking Dead. Also, Lucius Fox in Arkham Knight.
He does have such a distinct voice.
As Telltale's Batman, he's Vol'jin in World of Warcraft, and Radon in Bayonetta. He's a black character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
He's a
'cause
shopkeeper guy.
I tried
right?
to get into wait, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get into Bayonetta, and that's like one of the only 2 things I remember. Also, I think Bayonetta 1 opens with "Fly Me to the Moon."
Oh,
Great
song.
another Evangelion
Yeah,
reference.
yeah. And I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, Dave Fennoy's voice is like
so recognizable.
so recognizable.
I wouldn't know him, but I now know his name, but I wouldn't have known his name. But if you were like, oh, that's Lee from The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
like easily.
Vivian, the hostess we meet at the Pudding Pie, is not based off any real fable, but she is a fable. I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
She's like nobody.
They probably just didn't. Yeah.
She's just like,
Well, imagine
She's a fable,
I
but
like
she's
the
not.
idea of how many fables were just told to one person and like they just were lost. So like I'm curious how these fables again logistics that don't
qualifies as
matter.
a fable.
How does a fable become created? Like are they created after their story is told? Like what brings them into existence?
Yeah,
Like,
because I could just make up a guy right now, like
well, that's what I'm saying. Even like with
Crickety Craig, and, it's
and
boom,
like we
he's
write a whole
Fable
story about
Town.
Crickety Craig and Crickety Craig's
yeah, about
born
his
down in
crickety
Fabletown.
fence and how he needed to paint it. Or
But
something.
even
he
like
always-
how
yeah.
Buffkin is in this, and he's like,
he's the monkey from
is Wizard of Oz an old folktale before that? Is that where they got it?
I
Or
would
did they
assume so.
Or did they write that movie? Like, is that based on something?
I has to be.
Because that would make more sense to me. But I almost like
Yeah.
the idea more of
Joey,
like
do some research.
this is an American folklore. Like, yes, folk tales are still being created, and fables will always be created because throughout time, everyone will always tell fables.
So like,
and
is
tell
the
stories.
mouse to give a mouse a cookie? Is that a fable? It's a story.
Krampus? Is that Saint Nick? Is he a fable?
Dude, Wizard of Oz might be like the newest fable that's in it.
That's
First
what I'm-
published in 1900.
Huh?
So it's a book, but it's a book before.
Yes.
I see.
But that's still fucking new.
No, that's
that's
an American
that's-
folktale.
Yeah,
That's it. Or was it was it written by an American? I actually don't. I should have
just
asked
closed
that.
it.
Either way.
Guess we're never gonna find
Yeah,
out.
we're never gonna find- But even then, it was.
I'm not going to my history and pulling it back up.
Georgie Porgy's design seems to reflect that of the skinhead subculture that originated from the UK working class social group,
Skinheads.
who were composed of young English, working folks
on
in
Jeopardy.
1960s England.
What
He's
is
got the
skinheads?
bowler hat.
Yeah, and I'm like, I see that. He's very, he's a punk.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke that he looks like the dude from the Addicts. Actually, he just looks like any of the guys from the Addicts.
What is
I don't know if I've seen it.
Old UK punk.
there you go.
They look like Clockwork Orange.
Oh, so
fucking-
that's what I get.
Yeah,
I get
well,
that.
That's
Exactly.
exactly what
Yeah. Absolutely.
Droogs is a word that came from that movie, right? Or is it an actual term?
I know the book of Clockwork Orange a lot. Like the guy who wrote it, he just made up a lot of shit.
Like
I
droogs
think it might just be a word he made up.
Yeah, but like you say droogs.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
know exactly.
And then
what I'm saying.
it's like a fable.
Fun
Now
fact,
it is willed into existence.
Never seen
Clockwork Orange.
I haven't either.
Oh my god, it's good. It's good as fuck.
Is
It
that
is so
that's
fucking
not that?
I thought you said it's a good fuck.
It's probably a great.
I
Fuck.
mean, it just is kind of.
Who directed that again? That's a
Stanley Kubrick.
It's a Kubrick. Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't
Cube.
remember. Yeah, the
He's,
Cube.
hot take. He's got some good movies.
Oh, you know what? He's really underrated. I think they should really look into that guy.
He's made some pretty
not a
good
lot of people
flicks.
know.
Oh, yeah, it's a little
Kubrick
guy
No,
by the
I'd
name of
recommend
Francis
that.
Ford Coppola too.
Yeah, I'd recommend that, and then Doctor Strangelove if you're looking for another
okay.
Kubrick.
All right.
That's a
Dr.
good one.
Strangelove and
How I wanted to stop.
How I Wanted to Something Make Love Something to
How
the
I
Bomb.
learned to stop giving a fucking worrying about some.
Love
I
Big
remember I
Big
had to take one acting class for my degree, and my acting
Dr.
teacher.
Strangelove for Metal Gear?
He like hated Stanley Kubrick because he's like, he's not good. He just filmed things 1,000 times. And then, of course, if you film a scene 1,000 times, one of those scenes is going to be good. Like, that's how.
Sounds like he didn't like 2001.
I would kill myself, though, if I had to film a scene like 150 times.
So my next fun fact was the Little Mermaid one, that she doesn't have a name in the original one. So, yeah. But astute observation, but they can't probably use Ariel because of that exact thing.
Yeah.
Despite appearing in the preview for this episode, if Big B saves him, Lawrence is not seen at all during the episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Smoke and Mirrors.
Oh.
So let's go to the choices, boys.
Time for some choices.
Time for some choices.
Time for my grainy picture I took across my bedroom at night.
It's all right. You took the picture. That's
How
all that
did
matters.
you respond to Crane about Snow's death? So for me and 30.4% of players ignored him.
Me and 21.4% of players sympathize with him.
I sympathized with him, but it was 60.9 of us did that.
And you're playing on what again?
PlayStation 5.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the inferior console.
I might even disagree with that.
First slide on that.
We're
We're going to need to talk to Big B to
Crying
figure
Jim
out that
Ryan.
curse.
How did you treat the murder suspect? You and 45.4% of players persuaded him to talk. So
Boom,
this-
baby. Same here.
Yeah.
It says persuaded. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I forced him to talk, I guess is the other
What was your
option.
percentage?
37.6.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's like two choices. Looks
Yeah.
like.
Interesting.
Did you let Snow come to the trip trap with you? You and 75.2% of players let her make her own choices.
Same here, buddy boy. What about you, Joey?
Sorry, I was zooming in on Ichabod's face.
Unacceptable.
Me and 91.9% of players let her make her own decision.
Wow.
How much was it?
20% more higher than Xbox.
Wow. Yeah, that is crazy.
What's up
I'm
with the
feminist.
degenerates?
I'm letting
on
women
Xbox?
make their own decisions.
Oh, that's good. I mean, hey,
Exactly.
that's very progressive.
How'd you handle Georgie Porgy? You and 80.5% of players hit Georgie.
Me and 19.5% of players did not.
Me and 70% of players did not.
Fuck
Did
you.
not?
The differences are crazy.
That is kind of nutty, actually. Wow.
That's 80% of players hit him.
That's kind of crazy.
When did you keep punching Beast when he was down? You and 19.8% of players opted to not hit him. That's crazy. That's a pretty clear misunderstanding situation. Why would you
Wait,
keep
how much? I'm sorry, what was yours again?
19.8 opted to not hit him the second time?
80% of people.
Okay, so
beat
mine
the
says
hell.
you and 42.1% of players never had Beast at your mercy.
That's what I have, but mine's 8.9.
So we just didn't. I didn't really try to fight back that hard.
Yeah, we were
So I
we were
think that
soft
was it.
enough
Yeah,
that
we were
didn't
soft
even
on
have.
that.
Oh,
we
so
didn't
I went into another echelon of the decision.
Yeah, that's cool. I will say these decisions aren't. I feel like as weighty as the first. Would you
Yeah,
agree
it's not
as
like
the first episode?
did you decide to kill anybody? But I feel like
Not that that's a bad thing. It's just
we'll
more of
talk
an
about
observation.
the reviews here in just a second. But I think this episode the first episode's kind of slow. This episode picks up, things are happening, and and it's not long either.
Yeah,
It
it is
is
very. That surprised me. It was very
Yeah.
short.
Really,
So-
it was the same length as the last one.
No, I thought it was shorter.
They're both 2 hours.
Maybe I got through.
Before
Yeah.
I've been playing them, I've been looking up gameplay, just a video on YouTube, so I can see like how long is this episode before I hop in. Like how much time do I have before we?
So what was this one?
This one was like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and
that's
episode 1 was like 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's
not
exactly
that
what.
much shorter, but
Yeah, half hour.
yeah.
Especially for a game like this, it's, you know, when you're just pretty much.
And I guess that
playing.
makes sense if you are kind of more mainlining it, not.
Yes.
But that just shows you how much of a difference
Yeah.
that even makes.
And
too,
if
which
you
is
are
interesting.
hitting nutty speed runs,
Yeah.
skips, and getting world records,
You know.
hitting the perfect line, GoldenEye. You ever see the video? No. Classic.
Well, no, I'm.
We're gonna watch that. We're gonna watch that after.
All right.
Okay, let's review the episode. IGN, which also clocked it in an hour, an hour and 30 minutes. IGN gave this episode an 85. Smoke and Mirrors is a great second act to The Wolf Among Us. I would have to agree. Its 90 minutes are packed with memorable characters and scenes, as well as some of the most agonizing decisions Telltale has ever been forced me to make. I don't know if I'd say that.
Yeah,
That's a headline and a half. But you guys agree with that?
I don't know if
right.
they're the most agonizing choices I've ever
Yeah.
had to make,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It definitely felt like a second episode. We're getting to something else. We're on our way there, but I mean, stuff happens. But I don't know. I think
Like,
also,
what's the biggest? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say in general. I think like I'm having a hard time judging the game just because I remember it so well, and things aren't hitting me as hard as I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it is tough, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Even I feel like that happens even with our rewind reviews that we
Yeah.
do, like the movies. You can run into that issue of like,
Yeah.
man, how differently does this hit on the first time
Yeah.
versus
Like if we
the
get
next
to the
time around?
question
Like
where it's
Avatar
like, should you play this?
was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like I hadn't seen that front to back.
First one's.
But I was like, yeah, this is like not. I mean, like
one's
I
so
never thought really highly of it, but yeah, it like confirmed that I did
Yeah.
not like this.
Second one's. Don't even get me started on the second one. It's so fucking good.
Fucking way of the water, baby.
I didn't know where that was going.
Way of the water fan over
But
here.
yeah, it's hard because like when I bring
way
that-
of water,
when I
excuse me.
ask myself like would I recommend this to someone, I almost want to be like maybe, but it's like well yeah, it's because I remember all this shit.
That's what I mean.
If you haven't played, and also because I've played so many of these Telltale style games that it's
Right.
like really a burden now.
I did want to play this with my girlfriend if possible, but
Yeah.
we didn't have the chance to line it up. Just because
Yeah.
I would
It-
love to get her reaction.
Yeah.
Even
It
if
is-
somebody doesn't even play video
It
games that
is
much. But
funny how to the wayside this schema of game went.
Yeah.
Life is Strange did it, and I know there's probably a few other series
Yeah.
that I don't have off the top of my head, but like nobody does episodic anymore. And if you do it, they release it all at once.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you
I-
get all the episodes.
I was thinking about this earlier because Telltale, they made like the Sam and Max and all those old school like Curse of Monkey Island, like the old school point and click adventure games, and those the same thing. Those were huge back then, like late 90s, early 2000s, and then they went by the wayside. So it's like I don't know. It's like this is just an updated version of that, but it's funny to see how it was also kind of just a phase and. Now,
Yeah,
that we
I
have
don't
games
think
like that.
anyone wants to release a game like that at all
Yeah.
anymore.
What do you mean episodically,
Episodically.
Or just how this game like gameplay wise?
I
like,
was
how
saying
this game-
gameplay wise.
I would say both
because
actually.
episodically, I don't think that does
Like,
exist anymore.
Final
but I do
Fantasy
think
VII
these-
like
I
Final
think
Fantasy VII Remake is in parts, but like
Sure.
like the next Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't like episode 2.
And that's an important distinction because like parts like is a major like how long is Final Fantasy VII Remake like the first part like
it's like fucking 80 hours.
yeah so that's like a full like the
a full
episodes it is like a piece of a thing those are like this is
And you know
major.
you're buying it with the
Exactly.
intention of like okay
Yeah.
like
episodic where you can just like beat it in a couple hours that like no one's doing that anymore
yeah.
because it's like I don't know.
Well, next up with a middle of the road review, PC Gamer with a 65 out of 100. A great world and an interesting story, but the short second entry lacks the tense decision making of the first. I agree with the short, but I like the short, and I guess I agree with the you know you're not making any sort of tense decisions in this episode.
Yeah. And
But I like the length. It's fine.
I think I mean you know what though, because I'm also thinking like I think the length now is fine because we have them all and we're playing like we played the last one a week ago. I think if I waited 4 months and it was
Right.
90 minutes where there's not really anything crazy decision wise going on, like it's just building up to a bigger thing later, I'd be a little bit like, well, fuck, I gotta wait another 4 months now for
Right.
hopefully something. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I think there is a place for it, especially if you're doing especially with these types of games.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of build up, but I don't think you could do it over. I think you have to release it at a better cadence. Like I feel like you could.
You think 4 months is too long?
that would be way too long now?
Yeah.
I think you could do it like one every month,
Yeah.
like of these, and release. But you'd have to finish them all. Like have it ready
Exactly.
to drop it all.
Yeah,
at
they
once.
didn't.
But no, that's what I mean. They seem to genuinely be just developing this whole time. So, in my opinion, I do think there is still room for an episodically told game. I think this was definitely the boon of it in the time where it really hit its high peaks. I mean, I talked about it with like Hitman and how that even tried to do it.
Right? Yeah.
So like,
that's another one I forgot about.
It's interesting, but I do think there is a place for it in certain respects. I think that these kind of more this is like a point and click game.
Yeah, it is.
Say,
I would say newer,
and I think that there's room for that, and I actually kind of even like this style a little bit more than even say I played The Quarry pretty recently, and that's there's similar ideas. I feel like that actually leaned a lot more into actually third person behind the back cameras rather than what this does in your stationary cameras.
Almost like a tank control ish.
Exactly.
Right. Not exactly.
And I actually kind of like that because I think it does make it much more cinematic and more like something you're watching but participating in. It's not necessarily something you are playing it, but not in the same way you're playing
you're guiding it along.
A Call of Duty or something, to just do an easy example.
But to go back to the episodic thing, I think a big part of it too is like what video games fail with the episodic thing is that there's no, because of development time and all these hiccups and things you have in game dev, like it's the game dev side of things, you can't have like concrete like schedules. Like a show, it's going to be on every week, or a comic, it's going to come out one issue every month. But with like Wolf Among Us, it's like you beat an episode and it's like, all right, I just have to wait, and eventually they'll
drop this at some point.
Yeah, so it's hard to like keep yourself in the zone when it's like such a long wait.
It's
and you also
coming,
don't know,
but you don't know.
you don't know when it's coming. Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky.
True. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Because it's like
good thought.
Yeah, like when I start season 4 of Succession in a couple weeks, which come on, that's gonna be sick. It's gonna be like it's just gonna be like, all right, I'm coming hot off the first episode. I'll be here same time next week.
Absolutely,
watching it.
No, that's true.
You know,
but quick tangent. Succession. What is that on?
HBO.
All right, I'm looking for a new show to watch.
Yeah, that's gonna be
fucking not Sopranos, dude.
Oh fuck, that's good. I don't know if she's seen Sopranos.
That's on HBO too.
If she's watched Sopranos, then we won't watch it. I'll watch it by myself. I have to. But then we'll go to Succession. But if she hasn't, that's not a bad idea.
Succession is, and I've been saying it.
I've heard great things for sure.
If they nail the ending, which the fact that they're ending it like earlier than I thought, I think they have a good plan. Or whatever. It's gonna be up there with Sopranos for me.
You know what's so good?
It's perfect.
You know what's so good when a show finishes.
Oh yeah, and they have a plan.
And it's like actually done. Like I keep saying this in our group chat, but I don't have Apple TV, but I will give them a lot of credit that they are finishing the things that they started. Like Jason, that C show with Jason Momoa. I don't know anything about it. I don't know who watched it, but it apparently finishes the 3 seasons. They're finishing the story. I'm like, good for you guys. And Ted Lasso is apparently finishing on the next season.
And then you have The Flash that's like 9 seasons long.
That's what I mean. Like, exactly.
I mean,
it's much different.
I was going to say, it is
TV
different
style,
for sure, but yeah.
I heard The Leftovers on HBO was like that, where they were like, hey, we're kind of...
That was like 2 seasons, right?
3. And I think after season 2, they're like, hey, this isn't doing so hot. We're going to end this, but you have a season to end it.
Yeah, we're actually going to finish the story.
They pulled Westworld's rug out from under them. They were on their last season. They're like,
that doesn't surprise me, though.
And I'm like, that's such a shame because I would have liked to just seen that show end.
Westworld?
Yeah.
It's funny. They lost me after season 2, so I'm not really...
3 and 4 were...
Yeah, I started to, and then I was like, I'm out.
The first season's so good. That first season's one of my favorite seasons of television.
Yeah.
Huge sidebar, but it's all right, guys.
It's all right, yeah.
Just got to call them out.
We should just do a podcast where we just talk about what the heck ever us guys are thinking about.
Our last review, our most negative one. Not a ton of negative stuff so far. Spazzo Games writes, Smoke and Mirrors is
Sorry.
It's all right. It's disappointing. We sincerely hoped for an increase in narrative pace and challenge. What we got is a chapter that results to be even slower than its predecessor, with a lot of flat secondary characters and some bad puzzles.
Spazzo's got to take a chill pill.
Yeah, like I think the pace is stepped up. This is a much faster episode. A lot more things are happening. It's not slower at all, and I wouldn't say the puzzles are bad or the secondary characters are bad. I don't know. I think it's a pretty like bad.
I would say like it feels a little more inconsequential, some of the things, than the first episode, but it's like I don't know. I thought
it definitely feels like we're getting more into the middle of the story.
We were introduced last episode. Obviously, now we're in it.
You have those establishing choices that do, I think, make a major difference in that first episode. But this is more how you plan to proceed, which is a bit less more at stake, if that makes any sense. But no, I liked it. I loved it. I would say.
Go
That
play
was
it.
a weird sound. I just like hiccuped in my throat, and then a burp also came with it.
Dude, I was in the city. My new job's like in the city, which is like a weird. I'm not a city boy at all, but I was like leaving the office after work, and I had hiccups that were so bad. And I walked past this lady and like let out like a cartoon hiccup. I was like, and I saw her like. I was like, dude, I'm sorry.
Another side tangent on this.
Yeah,
My roommate was on a phone call with his boss, and I like walked by he left his door open, and I wasn't paying attention, and I just let out a massive poop. And then a burp, and his boss was like I heard it go silent for a second. She was like, "Did you just burp?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, that was my roommate."
Yeah.
And she was like, "That was incredible." Or something like that. And then he like told me a week later, he's like, "Dude, my boss is still talking about your burp. I don't know what to do."
At least it left a good impression.
No, it was fine. It was just hilarious, but fun stuff.
But that's it.
That does it, Gooch.
I think we went a little longer with this one.
We had a few sidebars, which I don't mind.
Dude, I know. I would love to see the total runtime of this series if you cut out every tangent.
Dude, the side anyone who listens to a podcast knows the
Sidebars are some of the best parts.
That's what you're
podcast.
here for.
But that you got to get back on track. But that's the sidebars.
And I think we
fun.
did it. You know, we went off the rails a few times.
We talked about
brought it
tarot
right back
and
on.
astrology and Sopranos.
It wasn't as bad as a
Stanley
derailment
Kubrick.
as that train in Ohio.
I saw there was another derailment.
Yeah, that one.
What is up with this?
Gooch, thousands of those happen every year apparently.
And now
no
we're
one
just
cares.
acutely aware.
Which is like, maybe we should not have that happen. But anyways, that's a whole nother podcast.
We'll do an ep on that.
locomotion. But thank you all.
Locomotion.
Locomotion.
With crazy
with the Delco nerds, yeah.
Take us home,
Locomotion.
trio.
That's a podcast name.
Yeah.
Locomotion.
Take us home, trio.
Thank you all so much for watching with us. If you find us, you can find us live on twitch.tv/Delco Network. We didn't record this one live, but we usually do.
Nah.
You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're on all your social media pages as well, at Delco Nerds on basically everything. We got a Facebook page. We got a Discord channel. We have an email. You can email us your comments, questions, or concerns, delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. All this information can be found on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. For Gooch, for Joey, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.